So I'm a huge sci-fi fan.
Okay.
So, from an adult perspective, I suspect that Prometheus would get a strikingly different review than for family friendly. So since you've seen it and I haven't, I want to hear from you when you're talking about taking a family, whether teens, kids, is this even worth thinking about or just forget it?
Well, let me get to that in just a second. I'll tell a little bit about it. It's rated R, number one. Mm-hmm. Prometheus, name of the movie. Oh. Also the name of the spaceship that's taking a group of folks to a galaxy far, far away because its wealthy financier is looking for immortality. And now kudos, the immortality is key here because there's some things I really liked about Prometheus. R-rated, but I still really like. It asks some of life's bigger questions, and a lot of films just never get to those. Like, why are we here? How come we're here? People say it's been evolution for years, but it doesn't seem to be a great theory. Maybe it's been space aliens. Well, the movie pretty well purports that, but one of the characters who wears a cross and is kind of the character of faith and science says, well then, who made the space aliens? And it's like, yeah, great question. So it's wrestling, not answering, but wrestling with life's big questions. So I think there's going to be a lot of buzz about this movie, that it's a thinking man, thinking woman's film, that it's philosophically satisfying, and I get that. But I would say this, now to get to answer your question. I'm about halfway through watching this film thinking, this is very PG-13. I wonder why it got its R rating. And then all of a sudden, one of the doctors aboard the film does this self-abortion thing that's very, very gruesome because she's got this alien baby that she's trying to get rid of. And then the gruesome, as you can kind of get from the ideas I described without getting into a whole lot of detail, that kind of gruesome, gory, where you just kind of go, excuse me, did I need to see that kind of violence? Begins pretty much nonstop from there. And then it's like, okay, R-rated, yeah, I get it. Add to that a whole lot of language issues as well. And I think Ridley Scott, I applaud him for asking some good questions. And even in his personal search, I've read where he's gone from being an atheist to an agnostic because he finally says, yeah, maybe I don't have all the answers here. And I like that. In his personal life, he's wrestling with it. The movie wrestles with it. But I think this film, if it has any really good redeeming value, would be for clips from the movie someday to be used for a youth group sermon, or a pastor would show this clip from the movie and say, I'm not recommending the movie, but I like this clip, that sort of thing. So,
how many stars did you give it?
A 2.5.
2.5, yeah.
2.5 out of 5. Giving it a little bit of credit. Oftentimes I don't give a movie credit, but it probably was more the 2, but it was like, yeah, but you got to give a guy a credit for some really good spiritual questions, and we did.
Well, I respect that. That's something I want to respond to real quick, because I respect the idea that in the public forum, something you said is that he asks the questions, but he doesn't necessarily attempt to answer them. And I like that, because in the public forum, especially if it's coming from like you said, an agnostic now in this case, it's frustrating when they ask the questions and then they try to answer them with an answer that is stated as fact, when it's not in fact. And the fact that he leaves some of those hanging wide open, okay, that gives you some room to think about it. I like that.
I do too. I can picture people who haven't thought about God or why I got here or why I'm here actually going to this movie. I can picture them going, good questions. I wonder why I am here. I wonder how I did get here. I wonder if there is a God. And if so, would that mean I should seek after him?
What implications might that have for my life if that were the case?
Because that's exactly what the movie is wrestling with. Different characters are wrestling with it differently. Some aren't wrestling with it at all, but some are really wrestling with it.
So not family-friendly fare then.
Right.
But however, I saw the preview the other day for Madagascar 3, which the first 2 Madagascars have thoroughly cracked me up. I love them because they're funny for grown-ups too. Here comes number 3, and number 3s always make me nervous, Bob, because half the number 3s go straight to DVD for good reason.
Yeah.
This one's going to theater, though, and I think they got all the original voices, didn't they? What'd you think?
Oh, yeah, Swimmer, Chris Rock is back, Ben Stiller. It may be the best one so far. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 for family friendliness, so right up high on the family scale.
Awesome.
On the entertainment scale, which I don't rate, it was fun. It's family friendly. It's cute. It's got some good messages. But essentially, Alex and his furry pals of four want to get back to New York Central Park. To do that, they have to go Monte Carlo to Rome to London. They join a circus. They're being chased by this psychotic animal control officer from Monte Carlo who wants Alex's head on her wall of trophies. And when they join the circus, they still have to escape this animal control officer and somehow teach the hippo to do the white wire walk. So there's a lot of fun along the way. A little bit of bathroom humor. I mean, from a downside, to be fair, families need to know it wasn't a 5 out of 5, but I think what was there could be navigated through, and I think it has great potential for this weekend. I applaud Hollywood for getting an animated one mostly right this time.